somebody else wanted to do it, they could try. But it's all about making sure once you leave here, they had a good time, and they remember that you're kind of responsible for it. You do that, you're all right. If you don't do that, you're just somebody else.
This is the infamous Billy the Kid. He's a movie fanatic who runs his own website called infamouskid.com, where he writes about the latest movie news, critiques movies without any restrictions, and create contests for his loyal fan base.
The initial plan with what we set up was to actually just do internet radio and do kind of a pop culture movie radio show. And we were never able to get it right. We were never able to set up how to do it, how to make it interactive, how to take phone calls, whatever. We didn't want to set it up to be just a regular podcast. So while we were trying to get it set up, somebody said, why don't you start writing? Why don't you start blogging so you can kind of, get the rust off and kind of get the feel for it again. So I said, all right. So we set up a website, started blogging, started writing or whatever. And it kind of took off, and the internet radio show kind of took a back seat to writing. And then what happened was I had a friend who is linked with one of the studios who said, why don't you come out and check out one of our screenings, which actually happened to be the Star Trek reboot. So I went out and I saw it, and I thought it was really good, and wrote about it in the blog. And then I think the next movie coming up was the Transformers 2, so we were going to get invited to go to that. They said, come out for another one. I said, okay. So I said, why don't we start reviewing these?
Billy also gets the opportunity to host exclusive screenings of the latest films for his own website. Usually he goes in front of the movie theater in order to get the word out there. He also has enough time to pass out free swag that the movie studios give to him and give to his loyal fan base, and for anybody lucky enough to not get hurt.
I mean, for us it's not just a screening. As being a movie lover, you don't want it to just be like any other showing that you can see on a Friday, Saturday night, like no big deal. We want it to be an experience. We want people to have a good time and remember who we are so that they check out our site and want to come back to everything that we do. Like, we want to turn it into something special.
Dan Hudak and Steve Leibowitz are two film critics who write for websites. Dan writes for his own website called hudakonhollywood.com. Steve writes for many websites, including Examiner.com, as the West Palm Beach and Miami Movie Examiner.
I realized when I was in college that all I wanted to do with myself was watch movies. And so being a film critic was the way to do it and make a living by doing it. But this is about 10 years ago, and the whole nature of the business has really changed since then. But it was in college. I took a film studies course. I realized how much I enjoyed watching movies, studying movies, and that really planted the seed for becoming a film critic later.
I was unemployed. I was working for a computer company, and I went to careerbuilder.com and saw an ad for a film critic through examiner.com, applied, wrote out a sample letter for them, and they liked my sample article. They liked it, I wrote, and I became the West Palm Beach Movie Examiner, and eventually moving on to cover the West Palm Beach and Miami Movie Examiner.
Because so much of the world is going online that it became important for me to have a presence online. And so it just seemed like a natural progression to have an online website for my reviews, news, trailers, whatever else I wanted to do.
Dan, Steve, and Billy are three different film critics with three different points of views. Though they do have different views on how they do film criticism, there is definitely one thing that they have in common, and that is the passion for the art of cinema. This has been Steve Massa from The Cinematic.